Welcome to Stand Up and Redo with Petra Demuse, the podcast where transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable. If you've ever felt stuck, weighed down by past choices, or like life's chapters have been written in ink, think again. Here, we believe every day is a fresh page, and you hold the pen. We're diving deep into real stories, bold insights, and life-shifting strategies to help you stand up, shake off the old, and rewrite your narrative with power and purpose. Ready to rise? Let's get started. I am so excited that you are here to join me on this episode of Stand Up and Redo that is from the series Gut, Heart, and Lady Parts. This is a fun series about dating and just diving in a little bit deeper to understanding a theory that I have that I truly believe is true about when you venture into a relationship, you lead with your gut, your heart, or your lady parts, or all three, or one more than the other. And the most important thing is not to leave one behind, and definitely not to leave the gut behind initially. And that's what we talked about last week in the episode. We talked specifically about the gut and leading with your gut in the relationship, even though it is so hard. Not letting the gut stay back at the starting line while love and lust are marching forward, but to make sure you have your gut right next to you or even going a little bit ahead of you. This particular episode this week is focusing on the heart. And when I think of the heart in the relationship, which the heart is the love part. And the thing that's neat about the love part is I don't feel like it's just related to a relationship, a committed partnership that you have. The heart part can be related to many of the relationships that you might have. And it's a part that I don't think you truly can control. I don't feel like you can control love. I really don't. Lust and can come and go. It can be truly something you can be so turned off by somebody that you no longer lust for them. You don't have that physical connection to them. But I don't believe that you can turn love off. I really don't. I really think if you love someone, you truly love them, that you really love that person. And I don't think you love everybody. I don't think love is just something that is just created or something that you can definitely nurture it, but I don't think that you can pretend like you're in love. And this is why this is interesting. And of course, I'm going by my experiences with love. And I'm going to start off by reading the Webster Dictionary's definition of love. And we're all confused about love. And when I read the Webster Dictionary's definition of love, it confused me a little more, but then it also didn't confuse me. It also made me realize that love is kind of simplistic, believe it or not. But this is what it says. I'm going to put on my glasses. Okay, love. There are 8 noun versions of love in the Webster Dictionary. And the first one is a strong affection for another arising out of kinship or personal ties. Example, maternal love for a child. Number 2, a warm attachment, enthusiasm, or devotion. Their love of the sea. So you're attached to the ocean. I feel truly when I drive home to Cape May and I can start to smell the salt air, I feel my body goes through an experience. And actually, sometimes I crave it so much that I need to just jump in the car and drive to the ocean. And I know it sounds crazy. I'm definitely a coastal girl. Okay, so number 3, the object of attachment, devotion, or admiration. An object. So baseball was his first love. So it's not even a person. They're projecting love onto an object. 4, unselfish love and benevolent sense, a concern for the good of another, such as, for example, the concern of God for humankind, empathy or concern or care for others. And this is something like under that umbrella of love, when you think of empathy, that would go more to just all people. If you're just a person who's very empathetic, you do truly feel like you love all people. I do believe in that kind of love. Yes, of course. And I almost feel like that might be agape love. Number 5 is a god, such as a Cupid or Eros, or a personification of love. And then 6 is an amorous episode, a love affair. their secret love. 7 is sexual intercourse, copulation, making love or conjoint. I'm not even going to say the word because I'm embarrassed. I don't think I can pronounce it. And then 8 is a score of 0 as in tennis. That was number 8. And that's the noun version. Okay. Here is the verb version. And then the verb version, there's only 4 of these. So the first one is to feel great affection for, to hold dear, or cherish. Number 2 is to feel lover's passion, devotion, or tenderness. Number 3 is to like or desire actively, take pleasure in. Number 4 is to thrive in. And I just read all these different definitions of love. And to me, my definition of love is 2 definitions of love for Petra. My definition is agape love, or a love that encompasses all, the umbrella of love over just human mankind. As if you're going to do the right thing, you're going to be empathetic towards all humans. And that's my definition of love. And my other definition of love is truly feeling this love for a person, that you would maybe put that person before yourself, that you would do acts of service for that person that go above and beyond what you might do for any other person. And it's almost like a feeling that you've met this person that you are so connected with and care for so deeply that you would be willing to maybe like put your own needs aside for this person. And I don't believe that that happens just to everyone. I truly believe it is something that is beyond human control. And this is where the topic gets really interesting in relation to dating. And I'm going to give you my theory on love. And it truly is my theory, but I feel like it's the right theory. I'm going to tell you a story. When I was in 3rd grade, I met a man, and he was actually, I didn't know it when I was in 3rd grade. He was going to be my husband someday. And I fell in love with him in 3rd grade. I know that sounds really weird, but I remember meeting him. He had a crush on a girl that was my friend. Her name was Michelle. And he used to bring her gifts in from home. One day he brought her a softball or a baseball that was signed by a professional baseball player and gave it to her. And then another day he brought her another gift. And I just remember watching him love her. And then me falling in love with him and just feeling this warmth for this person that I never wanted anything bad to happen to him. And my version of, I guess, love or falling in love with a person is I feel extremely protective of that person, almost like that person becomes my person to cherish and my person to not let any harm come to them. And I had this interesting bond with this. He had no idea. And I didn't see him every day. So, of course, I'm going about my life. But then at certain times as we grew older, we would cross paths and I would still feel that affection for this person. And then we did start to date when we were 16. And I did feel like he loved me too. So I didn't feel like we were lacking in love. However, that feeling that came over me when I was young like that, I don't feel like I had any control of that feeling. I don't feel like that was my choice to love him. Really don't. I don't feel like it was a choice. And that is where you have to think about dating people. And when you meet people all over the place, at church, at work, at school, girls, guys, you can feel love for them and you don't have control of it. And the reason I believe it is because I actually have friends. I have a lot of friends. I have amazing friends. But there are just certain friends through time that I have met that I have a love for, like a true, almost like love for them, where I feel this incredible feeling. And this is how my love is displayed, which might not be healthy, but I think it is. I feel like I want that person to succeed no matter what, at the expense of myself sometimes. I feel like I want to see that person thrive, do well, not ever be hurt. I feel defensive of that person. And it's girlfriends. Like I met one of my girlfriends was actually my boss at the time. And I always felt really protective of her for some reason. I wanted to see her succeed. And I still feel that way. And I could go years without seeing this person. That's another thing I think when you love someone and they actually maybe love you back, or maybe they don't love you back. But a lot of times I do feel like it's reciprocated over time. You feel that love for them no matter what. And you might not see them for years and years, but then you're going to see them again and you still have that love. It's really odd. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a lover. I feel like it could be a friend. I feel like it could be a teacher. I feel like it could be someone that's come into your life that you just know in your heart you love them. And I don't know how it happens and that's why you could even have a guy friend and not be lovers. You could be just friends and you could love him. Doesn't mean that you have to be lovers with him to be, that's where things go awry. And I really think that's where people, if you feel like a love for someone, that's where you have to, when you're at that starting line and you see a person and you're like, I love that person. Love them. Love them. I would do anything for that person. You have to get your gut up there next to you because that person might be somebody's husband. They might be too old for you, too young for you. They might not be a person that you should be with, and you need to cool it down. And I think then it's okay to establish a friendship, but keep boundaries up, be responsible, and then keep your gut next to you. Don't let other things happen with that person that shouldn't happen. And it's not hard when it's a friend, that gut lady part isn't coming into play. It's just the love part. But I truly do believe you can love someone who you're not meant to be in a relationship with. And that's what I think when you're going into a relationship. Sometimes the hard part is that might be lacking with one person. One person might love the other person. The other person might not have that desperate kind of love. And the interesting thing is, when you are loved by someone, when you can really feel that someone loves you, it is truly the best feeling ever because you feel safe with that person. That is an amazing thing. And I don't know how men feel about this. I'm a woman and I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. And I like to believe that now I am a more feminine woman than I've ever been before because in the past, I feel like I took on more masculine tendencies in my life and I tended to be even though I am a female, I tended to attract men who needed me to help them, to help take care of them. And I think that's why I ended up in a lot of the situations I was in the past is because I had this masculine energy that just shined through. And I did when I was a little girl, even when I played Barbies with my girlfriends, I was usually the Ken doll, believe it or not. I was the one that was like, okay, I'm coming home from work. And it was just I took on that caretaker role ever since I was a young girl, maybe because I'm the oldest child. Maybe my mom worked the night shift. I felt like I had some caretaker responsibilities. I mean, there's so many factors that play into the reason I feel like I was a masculine person. And it's interesting because when I listen to these podcasts now with all these famous speakers like Dr. Peterson, Jay Shetty, now Stefan, I don't know his last name, but I love listening to him. But when I listen to them talk, they talk a lot about masculine and feminine, I guess, roles. And they talk a lot about, oh my gosh, everybody now talks about narcissists and narcissistic behaviors and all this stuff. But when it comes right down to it, if you just scrape all that away and you just think about love, love is truly something that you feel for someone that you can't help. You just feel it. And I felt it for friends. I felt it for guy friends and for girlfriends. I felt it for even pets. It sounds so silly, but I have a dogs that I really cared for. I had one pet that I loved so much that it's almost like I just wanted to clone him and I could never clone him. I always think when Oprah Winfrey talked about cloning her little dogs, I'm like, how can I clone my dog? But I had a Labrador who lived to be 16 named Mako, and I loved him so much. I actually felt like, oh my gosh, I would do anything for him. That sounds so silly, right? A dog. So silly. But anyway, so I do believe that you can't control love, but I also believe this is the hard part when I think about relationships. And they're always like, did you love me? Did you love me? I loved you. And you're really like, what is love? Is love something that you can even control? I almost do feel like it's like that Cupid's arrow where it just hits you. And it does. But I do feel like you can have those other emotions without love at first. Like you can have, of course, the physical attraction. You can have that like lusty desire to be with someone. You can have that friendship where your gut is like all aligned with thinking that this person matches you and the person could match you perfectly. But is love there right away? I don't think so. I think love is something that just hits you and you can't control it. You can't force it. You can't make it happen. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that in relationships? That's the hard part. How do we deal with feeling so aligned with someone and feeling like they're your person? Like, oh my gosh, they're your person. And then feeling sex isn't a problem. You shouldn't be. But sex is important. I know as a Christian person dating, it's really hard because we're supposed to not ever have sex until we get married. And it's just life. If you're trying to be particular and date, you're going to have that lusty feeling for people. I do think physical attraction is important. And that's something that's really hard to deal with in the dating world. I'll be honest. And, it's so funny. We act like everybody can deal with it so easily. And, we have all these, with our teenagers, we expect this high level of self-control with them. And their hormones are going crazy. It's hard. It's hard. I'm 55 years old. And that's like the hardest part about dating. It's actually becoming the easier part, though, for me, a lot easier because I know for a fact that I am pursuing, and I don't want to talk about myself too much, but I don't want to just fool around with different people. I don't want to just have be the right now girl. I want to be either not in a relationship at all or pursuing someone who's going to be my forever person. I just needed to talk about love in relation to your gut feeling and your lady parts feeling. So what I'm saying is you can fall head over heels in love with someone. You can be hit with an arrow, but that might not be the person you're supposed to be with. And you can't just act like love overtook you and love was this factor that you couldn't control. You have to have self-control to know that you're just not struck by an arrow down. And if you do feel like you love someone, then love them. Love them in a way that is appropriate. Love them in a way that is from a distance. Love them in a way there's a friendship. You can have friendships. You just wouldn't put yourself in a situation to let it go any further than a friendship. And you can control that, friends. I do believe they can be friends as long as they keep themselves in check and they don't put themselves in that vulnerable situation. And you don't have to profess your love to everyone. You can just know in your heart that you love someone. If it's not appropriate, you don't need to tell them all the time that you love them. Now, my girlfriends I do tell them I love them because I do. And that's different. Now that I'm older, I'm not afraid to say I love you. If it's appropriate, it's real easy for me to say I love you. And again, like I said, love can be towards more than just a lover. It can be towards a friend, a mentor, a parent, a sibling. It's just something that you can't help, that you don't have any control of. And if you have control of love, then wow, I don't know if you really know what love is. And I can't believe I just said that. But I'm going to read something that is absolutely amazing. We started with a Webster's Dictionary, which was really cool. And now we're going to do this. I'm going to put my glasses on again because I have my 55-year-old eyes. And 54, I'm not 55 yet. And I'm going to read 1 Corinthians chapter. Listen to this. Listen to how beautiful this is. And this is essentially what the Bible says about love. And this is just so special. The greatest gift. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, and is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails, but whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three. But the greatest of these is love. And I love this scripture. It's just amazing. And I had to read it. And I was just thankful that I had this opportunity to read it. And I really, in my gut, heart, and lady parts theory, I know I make fun of the gut part a lot, and I'm a little bit crass and a little bit crude about it. And I'll probably do the same thing about the lady parts when I talk about that next week. But this week, talking about love is just so special and so near and dear to my heart. And it's okay to love people. It's okay to love people that you think are forbidden for you to love. It's how you act on it and how you behave with it. And go out there and just love one another, you know? And I'm thinking of all these silly songs in my head I want to start singing, but I'm not going to do that because that would just be insane. But my stand up and redo is to be more forthcoming with my love and share my love openly with people, not with the forbidden love that, you know, if you fall in love with someone who is maybe in another relationship, you shouldn't get involved in that person. So, but my feeling is if I love you and you're my friend, I'm really going to love you. And it's okay. It's okay to shower a person with love. And that's not love bombing. I hate that. I hate these words. I hate love bombing and I hate narcissists. I hate those words. They're everywhere. And I just hate them. So I'm going to love bomb you with real love. And that's what I'm going to do if I want to. And I'm not going to be ashamed of it. So that's my stand up and redo. And thank you. Hi, I'd like to give credit to Sarah Gephardt for the cover page of this podcast. This podcast is a work based on the personal experiences, reflections, and memories of the speaker. The events described are true to the best of the speaker's knowledge and recollection. Some names, locations, identifying characteristics, and timelines have been changed or altered to protect the privacy of the individuals involved. In some cases, composite characters have been created or dialogue has been reconstructed based on memory. The intention of this podcast is not to defame, malign, or harm any individual or entity. Rather, it is to share the speaker's journey with honesty, vulnerability, and integrity. Any opinions expressed are solely those of the speaker and are not intended as statements of fact regarding any person, group, or organization. Listeners should keep in mind that human memory is inherently subjective and selective, and while every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, this podcast reflects the speaker's perspective and truth. Thank you.